Talking to girls is easy, bro. Sleeping with women, that's relatively simple. But crafting an awesome relationship with a cool girl that withstands the test of time, that's hard work. It's easy to go down the toxic path where the sex is good, but you're constantly fighting with each other. She fills you with anxiety, and you're always kind of considering, maybe I should break up with this girl. It's also easy to go down the friends path where there's no fighting. You and your girl, you're on the same page, you're in love, you're comfortable together, and yeah, you're probably having sometimes, but there's no passion, there's no lust. And look, just to be clear, I am not claiming to be some type of relationship guru who has all of the secrets. I believe that relationships test all of us on a very deep level, and I've failed that test countless times, bro. That being said, I've learned a lot of difficult lessons from my past failed relationships and also from my current relationship with my now wife. We've been together 8 years and we're still going strong. So maybe you're here because you want to improve your current relationship. Maybe you're here because you're single and you just want to be prepared to properly craft and lead your next relationship forward. Either way, I'm going to tell you the 10 relationship laws that I now live by. Number 1, ABL. Always be leading. So you probably already understand that you need to lead the relationship as a man. But what you probably don't realize is exactly how this looks after the initial dating phases. Everyone knows, look, it's on me as a man to approach the girl. I gotta ask her to hang out. I gotta schedule the date. On the date, I have to lead the conversation forward. I have to physically escalate with her. Girls find that attractive. They want a leader, right? So then why do so many men, as soon as they get into a committed relationship and they know they have the girl locked down, why did they fucking stop doing it? Well, I'll tell you why, because I've screwed this up as well. It's because that beginning stage, that's hard work, man. We gotta put ourselves out there, face rejection and failure. And then now once we have a girlfriend, we just wanna relax and chill. We don't wanna keep having to work. But the reality is that it's even more important to lead once we're in the relationship. And that's what creates the masculine-feminine dynamic that all of us wanna have. And there's 2 ways that this must be done. First of all is with big life decisions. So when we decided to move from Boston down to Texas, and then also when we decided to move to Spain and then back to Texas, all of those big life moves were initiated by me. They were my idea. I planned them. I executed them. And you could argue that, bro, you moved way too many times. Those weren't the best decisions. But still, the process of just taking the lead and making those decisions, it solidifies this dynamic. Maybe you and your girl want to buy a house soon. Well, guess what? That's a big opportunity to take the lead and make it happen. The second way you got to do it, though, is just for daily planning. There'll be times where Julia comes to me and she's like, I'm so stressed out because I got all these things we got to do the next few days. And I'll be like, I don't want to talk about this right now. I'm managing these different businesses. But that's when you have to take a breath and say, what's stressing you out? Okay, I hear you. Well, this is going to be our plan tomorrow and the next day. I got this. You don't have to worry about it. Number 2, short-term conflict is better than a long-term lie. So one of the most annoying things about relationships is we repeatedly have to have these difficult conversations where we know it's gonna make the other person upset if we bring it up. Yes, I know. It sucks to have a conversation that you know for sure is gonna piss your girl off and you know it's gonna make her upset. So what I do now is I ask myself the magic question. And the magic question is, in 6 months from now, will I look back and wish that I had the difficult conversation? And maybe the answer is no. Maybe the thing I'm stressed out about is not that big of a deal and I just need to let it go. But maybe I'm just being a bitch right now because I don't want to have a tough conversation. And if I let it go, it's just going to lead us to living this lie, this relationship that I'm not happy with. So maybe your girl is posting provocative photos on social media and you don't like that because it seems like she's trying to get attention from other guys and it's not respectful to you. Okay, well, if I don't talk to her now, in 6 months, will I regret that? Obviously, yes. Like, this is a behavior that needs to change. Yeah, she's gonna get pissed off. She's gonna say that you're jealous and that you're controlling. But that short-term conflict is better than living a long-term lie, pretending like you're okay with this. Number 3, the 3-year rule is undefeated. So when researchers study divorce and they try and identify the different causes of divorce, one of the top indicators is people who get married too quickly. So people who get married less than 1 year after they start dating have sky-high divorce rates. After 1 year, it goes down a bit. After 2 years, it goes down a bit. But after 3 years, that's when the chance of divorce statistically significantly drops. And it makes sense. You know, I had 2 girlfriends before Julia. Both of those relationships lasted about 1 year, but there were times before that year that I thought, man, this relationship is amazing. This could go for years and years and years. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. You might be too. 3 years is enough time to see if you guys are growing and developing in the same direction or in different directions. Maybe your girl changes jobs and then she gets distant and unplugs from the relationship. Maybe a big opportunity comes up where you want to move, but she's hesitant to take that step with you. Maybe the passion just dies away. And it's also enough time that you're naturally going to find out, are you on the same page about religion, children, family, what your future is going to look like, where you're going to live. Like in the first year or two, sometimes we portray the image we think the other person wants to see, but it's very difficult to keep that up for 3 years. And keep in mind, women will push you to get married sooner.
Life's too short. I want to be married.
Because for women, when they see their friends getting married, they also want to be married. They got this biological clock to be married and have kids. For men, I think if we're being honest, we generally don't give a fuck about marriage. Like if 3 of my bros get married, it's like, cool, man. That doesn't make me want to get married. So if and when that pressure comes, remember number 2, short-term conflict is better than a long-term lie. And if you're thinking, fuck it, man, I'm just going to get married. I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm sure it's going to work out well. Why would you take that risk with the single biggest decision of your life? There's nothing to lose waiting for 3 years to happen. Number four. That's it. 4. Number 4. Why am I saying it like that? Number 4, get jacked, stay jacked. So if I look at my friends around me and their sex lives, there's one common thread. The men that are very active in the bedroom with their girlfriends or their wives, and they maintain that passion and that lust for years and years, they're the guys who are jacked. And it just so happens that almost every guy I know who stays jacked, guess what? His girl stays in phenomenal shape as well. And how does arousal work? When we see the naked body of a fit woman, we're turned on. And when a woman sees the naked body of a fit man, she is turned on. And it makes it just natural to stay very active and satisfied in the bedroom. And that's another interesting thing to take a look at. Does your girl follow your lead in the gym? I'd find that more times than not, the girl is also gonna prioritize her health and her body if you're doing that, because she doesn't want to feel like relatively uglier than her man. But if not, and she kind of lets her body go, for me at least, that would be a deal breaker, because the relationship and our sex lives, they're gonna suffer from it. But as men, it's our responsibility to lead the way. And that's why we gotta do everything in our power to look as good as possible naked. And that is why I decided to partner with Manscaped to be the sponsor of today's video. If you take your shirt off and there's a bunch of hair covering your chest and abs, it's gonna cover up your muscle definition and make you look less jacked. And also, when you trim the hedges down below, it makes the tree look bigger. And that is why 2 times per week I use the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. I've used shitty Amazon razors in the past. This thing blows them away because of the skin-safe technology that allows it to get a close trim without leaving any nicks or ingrown hairs. And then once per week, I'm gonna use the Weed Whacker 2.0 to trim my nose hairs, because let's be honest, those are gross. And the final part of my grooming routine is this guy right here, the Beard Hedger Pro. So every other day, I'm gonna use it to trim all of these hairs down below this line to really make my jawline pop. And then once per week, I'll throw on the guard and trim down my overall beard length to keep it at this nice length right here that I prefer. And the best part is, because Manscaped is sponsoring today's video, they're hooking us up with a coupon code that's gonna get you 20% off plus free shipping worldwide. You can use that on any of these tools individually, or I'd recommend grabbing the Beard and Balls bundle that contains both the body hair trimmer and the beard trimmer together for an insane discount. So if you're ready to look better naked, just click that first link in description to take your grooming routine to the next level. Number 5, dress each other. So I know in 2024, a lot of us perceive that women will be upset if we tell them how to dress, because it's gonna be controlling and misogynistic. Misogynistic kind of sounds like you're a good masseuse, like a good massager. Like, I love myself a good misogynist. But a funny thing happened when Julia and I started going shopping for clothing together. I started to pick out outfits for her that I thought she looked really sexy in versus the outfit she was choosing for herself, which maybe weren't bad, but I find her more attractive in the ones that I chose. And she started doing the same thing for me. Even now, if I see a photo of a girl with a sexy outfit on, I'll screenshot it, send it to Julia, and she's more likely to buy that and to wear that. And again, she'll do the same thing for me and give me ideas that she likes. And it creates this really interesting dynamic because now in my eyes, she is getting more and more and more attractive, and hopefully she feels the same about me. I just see too many couples that both kind of dress in maybe not an ugly way, but not a way that is as sexy and stylish as it could be. And maybe on the surface that seems vain or something, but if it creates a relationship of more attraction, it's a big W in my opinion. Number 6, ravage your woman. So look, the fact is that when you hook up with a girl over and over and over again for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, well, by definition, it becomes a little bit more repetitive. And if you're single and you're having like a fling with this girl for 1 month, then a fling with that girl for 2 months, well, by definition, there's gonna be more variety in your sex life. And for that reason, I find that a lot of guys, I would even say most men, have this belief or have this experience that in long-term relationships, the sex life gets worse over time. But from my experience, that does not have to be the case. And of course, staying jacked and working on your fashion together, that's gonna play a big role here. But also what plays a big role is just how you operate in the bedroom. I think we all understand that women, they get turned on when we get in touch with our primal instincts. And that's where we all have to check ourselves, because I think as men also, we get comfortable in a relationship and then we bring less passion into the bedroom. And then of course, how's the woman gonna react? The hookups are gonna get more and more vanilla over time. That's not what we want. And what I've realized is that whenever I catch ourselves going into that direction and things feeling a bit more habitual, I make a big effort to go in there, put my game face on, tear my clothes off, tear her clothes off, throw her around a bit, and everything gets brought back to life. As a man, though, this is going to be 1000% your responsibility. If you're hoping for your girl to make improvements in the bedroom and lead the way, now you're in the feminine role and it's not gonna work. Number 7, some issues get resolved, others do not. So there's this concept in my head that makes a lot of sense to me, and who knows, maybe it'll make sense to you as well. It revolves around trees. Like if I look out my window, I see the same handful of trees every day, and if I was to wake up tomorrow and just hope that one of those trees was gonna grow some wings and fly away, well, I would constantly be disappointed. Like the tree's not gonna fucking do that. You have to expect a tree to be a tree, and this also applies to humans. All of us have certain tendencies that are natural to us. And some of those things can change and develop over time. Some of them aren't gonna happen. Now, in relationships, your girl is gonna have some tendencies and some things she does that bother you. And of course, you wanna have that short-term conflict and try and resolve it. But maybe you've noticed you've had the same conversation 4 or 5 times over the last 6 months and she hasn't changed. Bro, she's a tree. A tree is gonna be a tree. You cannot expect a tree not to be a tree. So the question is that thing a deal breaker, or can you learn to love and accept it? So for example, with us, Julia does a really good job of keeping a clean house in everywhere except maybe in the closet. Sometimes I'll walk in the closet and it's like a bomb went off on her side of the closet. The clothes are everywhere. And after a long day of work, it just kind of bothers me, and I'll ask her, hey, is there a reason there's a bunch of clothes on the floor again? And I've brought that up many times, but still some days it looks like a bomb goes off. I've learned that I can just accept that because the rest of the house is clean. I only go in the closet like 2 times a day. The tree's gonna be the tree in there. Now with her, she wishes that I would be more thoughtful and, think to buy her flowers or bring her a coffee, and my brain, I guess, doesn't work like that. Maybe that's an excuse, but I'm naturally so focused on, the businesses and all those things that sometimes that slips my mind. I will say I've been trying to implement some new systems. My man Max Tuning, he recently told me that whenever he notices there's something that Taylor, his fiance, wants, he has a little list in his phone and he'll write them down so later on he doesn't have to be thoughtful. It's just there. I'm trying to implement that as well. But Julia's also accepted that a tree is going to be a tree, and hopefully I can make improvements there, but no longer is she expecting to wake up and for me to grow wings and fly away and be the most thoughtful guy in the world. Number 8, keep dating. So I feel like this is one where it's kind of like the old grandpa advice, but this is one thing that grandpa got right, man. You got to keep dating. Even after you're married, you have to keep dating. You still want it to feel like you're dating each other. Otherwise, it starts to feel repetitive and monotonous, and then you go down the friend path we talked about at the beginning of the video, where all the lust and passion goes away. So this is Grandpa David talking right now. The fix for this is just to go on one date night per week, ideally at a restaurant that we've never been to before, because now it feels like we're sharing this new experience together. And once we're there, we have a rule. There's no phones, and we're not allowed to talk about anything, business or stressful related, only enjoyable topics. And in case you struggle to have enjoyable conversations with your girl, I like to ask questions that are like, so tell me, what are 3 things you're really looking forward to in our life over the next 6 months? Or tell me, what are 3 memories you have from our relationship, all older than 1 year ago, that really make you smile? And that one date night per week, usually we'll go into downtown Austin, where it just feels a bit more exciting being in the city. It's a game changer, man. Keep in mind, though, it's on you to take the lead and to plan this. And ideally, you don't even tell her where you're going. You just tell her, hey, wear this type of dress or wear this type of outfit. I picked out a dope spot. Friday, 7:30 p.m. Number 9, fuck the phones. So I'm not sure about you, but nothing seems more depressing in my eyes than imagining me and Julia sitting here at night, just like doom scrolling our phones together, not actually being together. Like, that's some fucked up Black Mirror shit that most of us are living in our lives. So I created some very strict boundaries for us that at night, if we're watching a movie, there's no phones allowed. At night before we watch the movie, we always go for a long walk around the neighborhood with the dogs. No phones allowed. Sometimes we're more quiet, just being together. Sometimes we're a bit more talkative, but it creates actual quality time between us versus me doing emails and her scrolling through some Instagram reels or some bullshit like that. Find at least 1 or 2 things you guys do on a daily basis where you can also fuck the phones. And number 10, family is difficult. So this is more for people in the advanced stages of a relationship. Maybe you're already married. Well, as you know, you love your parents, she loves her parents, and sometimes that can create conflict. Because guess what? Our parents, usually they're probably in their 60s, 70s, 80s. In their older age, they tend to develop some stubborn habits that maybe we've grown accustomed to, but we can't expect her to be accustomed to. Or maybe her dad does some shit or says some shit and it pisses you off. Now, for us, we still try and communicate these things, so at least I'm aware of the issues that she has with my family. She's aware of the issues I have with her family. But it's not like I'm working through these things with her, because ultimately she's not the one doing them and vice versa. Point is to have realistic expectations when it comes to family. There's always going to be some conflict there. At least just be on the same page together. And once you're married, maybe this is a religious belief of mine, but once we became married, now we are the family, myself and Julia, and that takes priority before the extended family. Even though I still love every member of my family and my parents to fucking death, man. And by the way, I'm actually extremely curious to know. I want you to comment below the video right now and tell me, what is the number 1 struggle that you have faced in past relationships, or it could be in the current relationship that you're in right now? Like, what part has been most challenging for you to navigate? Drop that comment now. It'll be very interesting to see how things are different, or maybe they're very similar for all of us. Now, look, I know that some of you are single, some of you are in newer relationships, some of you are in older relationships. Regardless, you need to watch this video next. It's about why you should sleep with as many women as possible, bro. Or wait, maybe you shouldn't. But in that video, I dive into my experience with different relationship styles, different phases of my life, and what I ultimately found to be the right path for me. Click there to watch that now. I will talk to you in the next video. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, as I drop 2 new videos every single week. You don't want to miss them. I'll see you next time. Stay beastly.